Thank you. I'm Becky Edmondson, president of the Westbury Super Neighborhood, and I want to thank IBM and the city for allowing us to be a part of this process. We were here to speak on behalf of the Department of Neighborhoods when it was formed, and I think it's a great department and does a great job. My question from a super neighborhood standpoint was that communication issue. You know, we turn in the request to the city, and then getting that data back is something that would really be helpful at the neighborhood level. And especially to identify, and if we just use high grass as an example, Mayor, when you said, you know, I don't want to keep going out to the same house every 4 weeks. We want to fix the problem with that property. So at a super neighborhood level, we don't know how many people are calling in these houses. And it was something we could maybe handle at a neighborhood level. Maybe it's somebody elderly, not old, who needs help. And at a neighborhood level, we could do that. So I think that communication back to the super neighborhoods, or even back just to the individual, would be a really helpful part of the communication.
And you suggested that super neighborhoods would be a more willing partner in helping in some of these neighborhood issues.
Exactly, and I know my neighborhood is sort of an aberration in that our super neighborhood only has 2 civic associations, so it's a little bit, we're sort of doing double duty. But even on the ones, the other super neighborhood 36 that I work with also, but I think they would like that same data to be able just to pull it back and then even distribute it to the individual civic clubs and know really what they were facing.
Yeah, no, we had the chance to meet and discuss this when we were at the Super Neighborhood Alliance meetings.
Right into the microphone.
I'm going to talk right into this microphone. I'm a little less savvy with these public hearings. So we had a chance to meet and discuss this exact problem. I mean, it's a challenge that every city faces about understanding what's going on in your particular area. As Gary pointed out, and then Kelly was just talking about this mapping capability combined with the My Houston portal, and this is getting a little bit into the 3-foot weeds here, metaphorically speaking, but really giving people access to that type of information so that they know, as a leader of the super neighborhood, your super neighborhood, oh, I've had 25 people call this week about dumping, right? And that is what we took away from that. That would be one of the recommendations that would be included as part of the My Houston portal, so that you can actually see that type of information and make it so you can, as a super neighborhood, say, okay, I have a problem with dumping, for example, or I have a problem with 3-foot high weeds, so you can actually start to see some of those patterns so that you can actually start to address these things. And, you know, one thing I took away from speaking with you, Mayor Parker, is it's all about the neighborhood, right? Everybody associates themselves with the area they live in. I took that away from you too. And all politics is local, everything you do. So making sure that you have that type of information at your fingertips as part of this My Houston portal, I would recommend you make that part of your success criteria if you choose to move forward with something like that.
Mr. Green, tell me a city that does this really well.
A city that does this really well. I can't answer that question. Anybody from team answer who does this well?
You've looked in depth at 50 cities, you said, and you're under. Not you, we, yes. IBM has.
So Mayor, when you talk about a city that does this well, could you elaborate a little
Closes
bit
the
about
feedback loop with its citizens, provides, maximizes the number of citizens who have access to information from the city, and
I will need to get back to you on that. However, this is one of the most unique challenges that has been identified from the 50 cities. So I did want to share that with you. We don't have one that's specific
what
to
is
this.
what is the common challenge that cities bring forward?
The common challenges overall: transportation, education, also economic development, urban development. Those are just some of public safety. Those are some of the issues around some of the other smart cities challenges. But if you would like something specific, I'll certainly follow up with you with detail about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have a couple examples that we can pull from, but don't have the details for you.
Councilmember Cohen?
I'm fortunate to represent District C, and what's really interesting, that doesn't mean anything, but what it does say is that we have over 70 civic clubs in District C. There's 200,000 people, over 70. The next closest one has 40. and then other ones more like 15 to 20, so.
You're just really lucky.
Yes, I am. No, I am. I started off by saying, I'm very fortunate. And actually, the mayor lives in District C. And it seems to me that one of the biggest issues we have is trying to connect, first of all, the entire district, and because there are issues, and even though they may be 15 miles apart from south to north, there are issues in the northern part of the district